got me left to tell the tale. I'm Rothschild, and I've been lucky enough to do stuff like Rock City and Rothschild and Roadhouse and so many commercials about that game. And now I'm starting a podcast because honestly, guys, I don't think this space is crowded enough. Get ready for Greatest Escapes, a comedy podcast about the wildest escape stories in history. Very few people know this story. Each week I'll be sitting down with some of the most hilarious actors and writers and comedians. People like Ed Helms. I climbed up and was just like, she goes, you're on your own, you have to run. And Jessica, I love storytelling and I love you, so I can't wait. Together, we're going to puzzle our way through the most buck wild true escape stories of all time. Like, what should you do? Maybe write a musical? I would hide under the desk. I'll tie a rope around the fish's neck and use it to, like, water ski across the boat. So we'd love for you to come hang with us for some of the greatest escapes in history. Listen on America's #1 podcast network. Incredible headlines from around the world. Phenomenal news from Upward Report. Saturdays at 4 on KFI. KFI AM 640 is the Conway Show, your world champion Dodgers. They're on the Cleveland Guardians tonight. That was an exciting day. So listen to every game in HD on the free iHeartRadio app, live from the Galvin Sport Broadcast Zone, and stream all the games in HD on the iHeartRadio app. Keyword AM 570 LA. All right, Joe Buscaglia was with us. He was a LA City Council member. Then he retired. I don't know what happened, but he said stroke about it. And moved back to the San Pedro area. And he is bringing up something really important here. They're not going to open up a 100-bed unlocked drug and alcohol rehab facility with potentially 1,000 patients on Southwestern Avenue in San Pedro. It's an unlocked drug.
No, dude, I was outside of my friend's house in high school. We were like having a get together, and I get sleepy when I'm drunk, and I didn't want to be a bummer on the party, so I went outside to sleep in my car, and it was cold, so I turned it on. Next thing I know, knock, knock.
Yeah, you got cold. Did you think when you were getting cold in your car, did you think about unraveling your eyebrows and using them as a security blanket? Let's talk about those for a second, because those are the two biggest bushes I've seen come out of Texas. And that includes George and George W. Made the guy from Texas laugh at that one. That's how you know. That's worth 1,000 points. So let's talk about those eyebrows. Do you do any upkeep on those, or is that just fucking raw dog up there? What's going on?
Man, I shaved down the middle.
Can you come a little bit closer to the camera? Can we get close up to those things? Because those are really, can you raise them for us? Oh yeah, look at that.
How do they turn into butterflies?
Yeah, you got a couple little piss catchers up there from Boy Scouts. All right, Colin.
That's where I sew my merit badges, man.
I love it, dude. What do people do? You know, I never was in the Cub Scouts. And I feel like when I was a little kid, I was sort of jealous of the kids that sort of had that like scout thing, but now in retrospect, I'm sort of glad that I wasn't part of it. You were in it?
Yeah, I became an Eagle Scout.
Wow.
I did a lot of camping.
Did you just do it for the free cookies?
No, because it was a lot of camping. It was a lot of fun, like canoeing and shit like that. It's a lot of outdoor camping stuff.
Are you into any of that stuff now? Like, what would it take to get you in a canoe nowadays?
Oh, I love canoeing. If there was canoeing around here, I would definitely do it, but there's not really canoeing much around here. It's more like kayaking.
There are two things that we are doing, my friend. When this quarantine is out, you know what they are.
Well, in Ohio, it was
rollerblading and canoeing.
In Ohio, heavy boats aren't canoeing. In Ohio, canoeing is a lot of fun because you would get dropped off at like the top of a river or whatever, and you just take a big cooler of alcohol and you just sat there and drank the whole.
Yeah, it's like a float trip, right?
Was that
like a float trip?
Yeah, a float trip, and then they will pick you up at the end. Out here, though, there's not really much. I've tried to look for canoeing out here. There's not really much.
How far did you drive?
Dude, it's pretty. I mean, there's not.
You get what's outside your door. Turn around and you're like, nope. Oh no, that's fun. Yeah, no, it's true. It's weird. California, strangely, even though there are rivers, it's a weird place for things like that. I've been on this show. I once said it's weird. There's not a lot of great fishing around California, and I got destroyed on the internet for saying that because obviously everyone in America is like, darn, the Pacific Ocean, but I wasn't really counting that. I'm talking about like rivers and lakes. Like, they have lakes here that have just dried up. Like, what's that one? The Salton Sea? Crazy. They just pretend like that's a sea, and then you drive by it, and then there's just the desert. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, there's whitewater rafting somewhere. It's a couple hours away. Oh, I love it. I've done, oh, look at that.
And if you look, it's kayaking in the ocean. If you look, I said there's kayaking.
The guy from Germany likes white power rafting.
If you look at it, it's mostly kayaking and it's mostly in the ocean.
For those of you that are just listening to the podcast, the guys in the booth just brought up canoeing and kayaking in Los Angeles, and the map lit up like a coronavirus.
Yeah, but these aren't like the kind of canoe that like you do.
No, it's true.
Completely different.
It's true. In Ohio, where we're from, especially, you take a trip down to southern Ohio or around West Virginia, which is extremely close. Yep. Done the Cheat River in West Virginia. Incredible times.
I go right now.
It is wild. It is wild. Well, Connor Kokora, it was fun to meet you. Thanks for coming on. Everybody good? Anything else? There goes Connor Kokora. Thank you, Connor. Great to have you back on again. We'll see you in Texas. Connor_Kokora. K-O-K-O-R-A. All right, we got to keep flying through. Your next comedian, this young lady goes by the name of Shelby Gonzalez. Here's a little bit of music from the Kiltony Band. And here, 60 seconds, uninterrupted, from Shelby Gonzalez.
Are always down, tearful, the mascara running down the face and shit, but not so much a tearful, drunken recap of all my past traumas. I want the gaggage, but not baggage. Being a woman is tough. I'm tired of being empowered. Yeah, I know I can do anything, but I don't want to. Oh, and the rape. Everyone's getting raped now, except me. At least bridesmaid, I definitely have a type, though, when it comes to dating. In fact, I've had more nerdy white dudes in me than the convention center does during Comic-Con. So many mentally unstable white dudes have dumped rounds into me. You call me in elementary school.
These are good jokes.
There it is. Shelby, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Where are you at?
Phoenix.
Wow, awesome. We love Phoenix. That's great. Have you done stand-up comedy before?
Yeah, I've been doing it about 2 years now this time around. I originally started about 5 or 6 years ago, and I quit for a little bit, but got back into it about 2 years ago.
Very cool. You had some funny jokes there. The past traumas thing, all that. The rape. One thing I love is that you talked about how women have all this freedom now, and you don't want to do anything. And I found that, while it wasn't necessarily the most like hoo-hoo ha-ha joke, I found it interesting because I don't ever hear women sort of taking that approach ever. Is that a longer joke normally that you have more beats to in a regular stand-up set, or just sort of a new idea or something that's just a one line?
Not really a longer joke. I mean, that's just kind of one of the ones I kind of stuck in there with the whole, women being empowered shit. Like, I still like having doors open for me,
Right.
I I don't want to do everything myself.
Right, of course. When you talk about past traumas, what are we talking about here? Let's talk about your
Family shit, you know, growing up with an emotionally abusive mother that didn't care about me. That comes up a lot.
Well, that makes 11 of us.
I actually had a real physically abusive mother. She used to pull guns on me and knives, and
Yeah? Well, now what do you do?
I do the same to my kids. That's it on.
Pass it on.
Just put that in and you break through.
Wait, was that my mother? Telling Joel to just play the drums? Oh, no, Joel, it's okay. Sit back now. Sit back. Oh, oh, no, he's leaving. Oh, this is strange. This is going to be a very rare occurrence where Joel walks off. I wonder if he's perhaps doing a character change or something. No.
Needs to use the manual.
Oh, that's true. So Shelby, other than an emotionally abusive mother, what else? Anything else interesting?
I make websites in my spare time. I've been doing that as kind of like a side gig for a couple years now. Was laid off from my job about a month ago because of all this grown-up shit.
What was that job?
I'm a POS systems analyst. Essentially, I help employees and franchisees of restaurant chains set up, install, and upgrade their point-of-sale software and equipment.
Yeah. You have a boyfriend there in Phoenix?
No.
Living the single quarantine life. What have you been doing to pass the time there all alone?
I've been watching a lot of 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I heard this.
Yeah, it is good. I actually caught up on quite a bit of that.
You start with the first season.
I was really surprised to learn how many other people are ashamed that they watch it, but are cool and not, the typical housewife mom kind of person that watches that. I'm really surprised I get to talk to other cool people about that show. How many other people actually watch it?
It is incredible. It's just a gif of a train wreck over and over and over again. These people that are just being used and they have no idea. It is absolutely awesome. I mean, you'll just see, you'll be flipping through the channels and you'll see just this voluptuous, big-breasted, ridiculous woman with her ass cheeks and tits hanging out. And then it'll cut to some guy who's with her that looks like the drawing of Joel from Tyson.
It's weird when
These two things do not belong together.
and it's weird how some of them actually survived. And you're like, how the fuck did this actually survive? Like the first season, that weird cross-eyed chick.
I'm not sure which season I've caught up on. One of my favorite ones. Oh yeah, that guy's out of control. Sure, but one of my favorite ones, there's actually two of them. One of them, the guy is with a beautiful Latina girl, and he's just a fucking whiny dork. I mean, just this, I just don't know if I don't know if I'm ever gonna get her to love me how I like her. You don't realize, you just want to slap him and go, dude, you're a fucking bitch. Change your attitude, first of all. I mean, if you had some fucking swagger, you could be giving this girl a good time. Anyway, and then the other one, really my true favorite is this, there's this one with she's a young, sort of, not really that young, I guess. She's actually, I would guess, probably early 30s, and she bagged this, 21-year-old Jamaican dude that literally is like, look, if you don't have sex with me 2-3 times a day, I'm gonna cheat. He says that, at the top, and sure enough, it takes no time. I think he cheated on her, during their wedding or something like that, basically. The show's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I love it.
One that I hate is Love is Blind. Have you guys caught any of that? Oh, it's just dog shit. Oh, I hate it. I love it.
I watched a couple episodes of it, and there is that one woman, I think she's the one that's universally hated on that show. I couldn't get past it. I wanted to keep watching, but I could not.
Yeah, Love is Blind is so fucked up that the women on that show look like the drawing of Joel. Anyway, Shelby.
I just want this to turn. I just want more table wine to start flowing. Be like, have you guys seen the newest episode of Real Housewives?
Oh, you have to, my girl. is on in the background at a lot of the current quarantining that I'm doing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of
people like
a lot of lady shows. A lot of these shows with the women.
I watch a lot of Animal Crossing playthrough videos.
You do? Are you one of the Animals Crossing?
Hey,
All right, Shelby. Anything else crazy we should know about you? Any fun facts about Shelby? You have any special skills or talents you could show us? You seem like the kind of chick that knows how to vape using your nostrils or something.
I'm really into computer shit. Like I said, I do website building on the side. I'm about to graduate with my associate's degree in computer programming in May, so super psyched about that.
Are you bummed that you won't be able to do a ceremony?
Oh, dude, I was so bummed about that. I just on and off with it for years trying to get this fucking degree, and I found out I couldn't even walk, and I was pretty
I feel like they'll probably redo it, after a couple months.
I'm thinking so too, but I've been waiting for so long, and the fact that they're even going to reschedule is kind of bumping something.
I see you have tattoos on you. Do you like all of your tattoos, or is there any that you regret or anything like that anywhere?
No, it's really. I think my tattoos are pretty dope.
Is that pizza? Is that pizza?
I have pizza and a
Oh my goodness, is that a gremlin behind you?
Oh, that's my Kirby.
Furby.
Oh.
My Furby's below my waist, and in between my legs.
Well, Shelby, thank you so much for coming on the show. Awesome jokes, awesome style. Keep writing. Keep doing it. Extend out that don't want your freedom women thing. You could have a real your own voice, sort of, as I feel like as a female comedian, if you use that not only as a joke, but sort of like as an outline of yourself, to sort of take a different approach than so many women.
Also watch Ali Wong's special. Their opening joke is all that.
Oh, really?
Make sure you don't do the same.
Proof Tony Hinchcliffe's never watched an Ali Wong special once and for all. Right here live, I know. Two Wongs don't make a right. Okay, there goes Shelby Gonzalez. She's on Instagram at Shelb Serena. And with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, comes my favorite part of the night. Every single week, this guy boggles my mind. I absolutely love him. Everybody knows it. He is the reigning, defending Kill Tony champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you super regular Michael Lair, everybody. Here's Michael, everyone.
Hey. Hey, roses are red, violets are blue. If I turn blue, call 911. Oh, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Yeah, they fucked me. Mary, quite contrary, I fucked that pussy. You got scissors, bitch. Put these in your pocket and help me with my jacket. Little Bo Peep lost her sheep. Tonight, sheep disease. Not to pay the bill, Bo Peep gets down on her knees. Oh, Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard. Gave her boyfriend his pills, but she liked the taste. So the pills went to waste, and now my goal is dead. Oh! Little Jack Horner sent to the corner 'cause his legs don't work. Then he spent all his money on one strip clubs watching big black asses twerk. Oh! Mary had a little lamb and a slight case of Downs. She had the strength of 100 men and trouble keeping off the pounds. Oh! Thank you.
Heck yeah, beautiful. A surprise performance by the great Injured Dice Clay. He was on the show a few weeks ago. He's back. How are you, sir?
I got a fan there like Austin and Vicky. I'm like, what's Vicky? They're like, it's energy healing, like no touch. Fuck you, Vicky. I want that touch healing. They're doing the no touch, but they're humming like they're coming with the fuck you and your fucking Ricky.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Did you try it at all? Because it might work.
Yeah, have you tried Ricky, Tony?
No, I haven't. I tried a guy named Ricky once. I gave him Mac Kool-Aids.
Yeah, I had Ricky Martin, but my crazy life.
You are living La Vida Loco over there. Wow. So,
what's
La
up?
Vida Locomotor.
living La Vida Locomotor. Wait, what?
Hey, thanks again for the text you gave me yesterday. When things get back to normal, you can try my chair.
Yeah. I know he's been wanting to. It looks like Mario Kart for real.
It seems fun, actually.
Riding in this chair?
Yeah, motorized chair. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was a comedian before I was sick. Of course I got the funnest chair, you dummy.
Absolutely. That's why he's wearing a shirt that says Dice on it, because both of those things get rolled regularly.
Yeah, baby.
Look at all the photos of Kill Tony he has on the wall.
Oh, look at that. You do have a little cool spread of Kill Tony pics back there. Is that your normal setup?
Oh, yeah. If you haven't noticed, I'm disabled. I don't have a job. Every moment I'm away, I work on your fucking show.
Oh, my God. I love that so much. I love that so much.
Yeah, but let me give these are my LA and Buffalo show posters that Colette, my nurse/girlfriend, printed out at the Target, and they mail them. It's real cool that that's foreign ones up there.
Any paintings of me?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, baby. I'll raise your kid.
I love that, man. I love it. That's a great backdrop. So what else has been going on? What else has been going on this week of the quarantine for you, Michael?
I did almost get into a fight last night. Maybe a stabbing, maybe a shooting.
Oh, tell us more. I gotta know about this.
Yeah. Well, you know how I posted about my troubles with smoking weed on my balcony?
Yes. Yeah, I know all about that.
Yeah, so I'm in a plague, and I'm not compromised, but obviously I've had better days. So now I have to go outside to smoke weed, right? And I'm posting up out front of my apartment. And if you don't know this about me, I'm gonna die on my sword. No one can front on me, I'm not chill. I'm not a bitch. No one can blame me.
You're
So
goddamn right.
anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting out there in my wheelchair, nighttime, glasses, mask, gloves, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Hey man, can you let me inside?" And I'm like, "Bro, you know I can't do that. I have a responsibility to the other tenants." And then he got real mad. He was meeting a friend, and then under his breath, he started calling me a bitch. And I was in the mood, and I like to talk shit. Most of the time, people don't do anything. So I go, "I'm not a bitch, take that back. I'm protecting the other tenants, take that back." And he goes, "Yeah, man, you better shut up, man." And he was reading around his way. He's like, "You better relax." I'm like, "I can't walk. All I do is relax. Take that. I'm not a bitch." And that got heated, and we had that really like alpha eye contact, and it was exhilarating. Talk about life. That shit ain't got nothing on sex life, baby.
God, I love that. That's like an episode of Game of Thrones, because in the end, the guy in the wheelchair won it all.
Exactly, man. I'm the brown-eyed raven. I'm gonna be the pink-eyed raven, and when I get to with all these seagulls.
Holy shit. I love it. Is that a new neck brace you have? I just noticed when you turn your head a bunch of different directions that you have a new neck brace on.
You know, Injured Clay got like 12 neck braces. I got the baker's dozen of them.
I love that. Where do you get them from?
Amazon. Where else? Fuck this small business. Yo, all you small businesses, oh man, grandmas and uncles, fuck yourself. Amazon, baby.
I love that take. I love that approach. Fuck all the small businesses. Let's monopolize everything. I think we should all have cafeteria-style meals here in America. Unified meals, unified healthcare, unified everything. Let's just have the government pay for everything and wonder how it gets paid.
But check out Michael Lair's website.
Yeah. No,
MichaelLairComedy.com, and go down the rabbit hole of my brain and several years of my brain on infinity.
Ooh, that's exciting. What a twist.
Guess what bits were written on infinity?
I love that. My goodness gracious. That's an exciting game. I'd like to play that.
Yeah, game night at your house, but guess what drugs I used to write which bits?
For sure. Love it. Well, anything else crazy we should talk about, Michael?
Well, I feel like we're coming to the end of the play, and I feel like sooner than later we're gonna be back, and it's gonna be like this shit never happened. My son's gonna be back in LA, and we're gonna be at the comedy store, and it's gonna feel new again. And I've been engineering a way for me to perform downstage where every comic performs. I no longer will be on the bandstand. I will be a real comic, a normal boy, and I will perform. Downstage on the main room, I think, of the Comedy Store.
Absolutely. And that's an interesting thing I don't think a lot of people know about is that there's stairs that surround the main room stage, even though technically the main room is on the first floor, the regular level, street level of Sunset Boulevard. There's a lot of single stairs and double stairs and triple stairs to get up to the back of the stage and on the stage and then even lower on the stage. And there's two offset, unbalanced stairs to get down from where you normally perform down on the red part of the main stage. And well, before you told me that you liked performing up there, if you want to come down to the red level, of course, we would love to have you. How are you going to do it? Suicide dive?
I'll keep it a surprise.
Absolutely, dude. If you get up out of that wheelchair and start walking, we're going to lose our minds, dude.
I want to say something. No, that's not going to happen. What I'm going to say is in reference to stupid fucking comments like that I get all the time.
Yeah.
People like, why don't they carry him off? What pussies, Hollywood, real pussies, they let them. Here's the thing, you don't know shit about my disease, what it does, all that. So shut the fuck up. All I do is solve problems. I solved another problem. I will never do a set on that bandstand again. I'll be downstage rocking the motherfucking crowd.
You're goddamn fucking right, and I cannot wait. Projections are looking like perhaps as early as June or July. We could be back in business. My guess is we're going to be right where we left off. Big packed, sold out audiences, high energy, and hopefully business will be a booming soon, so I'll be looking forward to that. Michael, we absolutely love you. You are undeniably one of the greatest performers to ever be on this show. Every single week you blow our minds. You're a goddamn inspiration and, of course, an American hero.
I love you guys and you and all the listeners and all the people I talk to are truly the best medicine. I can't say nothing else.
We love you, Michael. The great Michael Lear, everybody. We fucking love you, pal. We'll see you next week. There goes Michael. MichaelLairComedy.com is his website. At SteveMartian69 is his Twitter, and at Michael Lair Comedy on Instagram is his Instagram handle. But before we go, even though he is basically completely unfollowable, we always give one last stranger a chance. Pre-selected by the Better Box team here, Anthony Engage. Let's see, our final comedian of the night. Looks like his name is Joshua Bergman. Here he is, Joshua Bergman.
There you go, Donnie. How's it going? So if I was British, my Tinder profile would be, my name is Winsel, and I like to go for long waits on the beach. So it turns out those people protesting 5G were right after all. 5G does transmit cancer because it transmits Twitter. So I lived in Japan for 10 years, married to a Japanese lady. We got 3 kids. Can I say, Japanese like it raw? How come we never got bidets over here? They got the fancy bidets in Japan. We need to bring that over here. I think it's the marketing. Bidet sounds so French, so soft. name it like the pooper blaster. So like crazy.
There you go, a minute from Joshua Bergman.
What up, Quick Scope?
Hi, Joshua.
Chag Sameach, how are you? Same. How was your meeting on Monday? Excellent. Do you have a meeting set up? Okay. Well, yeah, after Sunday, essentially. Uh, I mean, next week is what we call Chol Hamoed, which he may not. Usually, with rabbis, you want to keep it after Pesach. Basically, we have a period called the Omer that starts tomorrow, and it's like 49 days until our next holiday, Shavuot. So basically, from like you want to keep basically the next week. He's probably not going to want to meet with you, but then there's a pretty good time of like 40 days essentially where his schedule will probably be more open. And then after that, which is like mid-May, from like mid-May to the fall, his schedule is going to be quite open. So you're coming on like a really busy time within Orthodoxy, but after next week or so, you should be able to see some clarity. Definitely. So I would, if I were you, just look to contact him maybe early next week. He'll probably say wait till after Passover's over, which will be the following week, and then probably be able to get some kind of meeting with him then. What did the rabbi on Monday say? Not within the Reform community, not at all. Yeah, yeah. It's already red flags when they want to charge tuition. It's a money making system. Usually within the Orthodox community, you'll have to pay money, but it's to the shul. It's not for a class. We usually don't. We don't charge for any classes. They're all free, so long for members of the shul. Now it's going to be more expensive, but yeah. So I don't. I really have done my best for most of my life, or my entire life, to avoid any type of conservative or reform ideas, any of their synagogues. So I'm not familiar with what kind of system that they have, but at least within the Orthodox community, what will probably happen is you can contact the rabbi. Whether he wants to respond, that's up to him. That's his prerogative. Um, yeah, uh, he may. I mean, a lot of rabbis. You got to imagine we are, at least within Judaism, we're like 2% of the United States population, and of that 2%, Orthodoxy is 0.2% of that. And we get inundated every single day with people who, hey, I Judaism speaks to me. Hey, I've got a girlfriend who is Jewish and I want to be Jewish. Hey, I've got a boyfriend who's Jewish, who wants to be Jewish. Hey, I'm not happy with my life in the world, all kinds of things like that. So and if he's running a small community, they may not even have conversions. Uh, and so if I were you, and what I advise people is don't get frustrated, continue. If a rabbi um, basically doesn't respond, that doesn't mean anything personal. It chances are you won't get a response. We do not proselytize, and we don't. We're quite quite I would say, at least for the most part, some shuls are different, but focused on ourselves and not focused really on the outside world. If you are someone who wants to um, join the Orthodox community, then recognize that moving is probably what you may be advised to do if your uh, community does not have a uh, basically a local based in that does conversions, a local house of judgment. And even still, there's a caveat on this. You want to check the other congregations as well and the reputation of the based in, because what can happen, and this does happen, is you may find a rabbi, and it happens, a rabbi themselves, we cannot convert an individual, but we can get 3 Shomer Shabbat individuals to sit for a based in for a price tag and have a conversion. Will that conversion be recognized? It depends on the rabbi, depends on the community. So what I'm saying is do your due diligence. If you feel comfortable with the rabbi of the community, um, and you recognize that it's a based in that is seen in high regard, then that's one thing. But usually that's only going to be in a big city. Your big based in are, well, at least Los Angeles. It's the Rabbinical Council of California. It's located in the Mid Wilshire area of downtown Los Angeles. And that's the gold standard. There are other uh, based ins, but they're not recognized, meaning you might not be able to move to Israel even if you're converted under a certain based in. Um, and then you've got certainly Brooklyn, the New York area, New Jersey area. And then from there, you've got Chicago, which is uh, pretty well known. Miami. Okay. Okay. How far is it approximately? What I'm saying, is it like a 3 hour drive from where you are, or is it like a 10 hour drive? Okay. Well, um, the Chicago Rabbinical Council, CRC, is very highly respected. And so that would probably be your best bet. Um, if you said that you're in their program, I'd let you in my shul. Not just, but I mean, if you converted through them, and my colleagues would as well. If you said, "Hey, it's it's Rabbi Goldstein's shul, and he lives in Paducah, Kentucky," okay, we're gonna have to do some research. I'm gonna have to make some calls, and perhaps you still not may not be recognized. It's very political, but the Chicago Rabbinical Council, that's an excellent option, and would be recognized basically globally. It's essentially arguably the third most uh, recognized based in the United States. So that's a good one. If you can do that, that's great. I know you said perhaps St. Louis, or you mentioned something about St. Louis. St. Louis could work, uh, depending. but Chicago is probably is probably preferable. But you know, uh, I've told this to individuals. I get people who come in here and they're like, I want you to make me Jewish. I can't. I'd love to. I wish I could wave a fairy wand. That's just not how it works. Generally, I just tell people the process, and the basic process is to locate your local Orthodox rabbi, your local Orthodox shul. Reach out to them. I get some people who say, Rabbi, I sent an email and I didn't get anything back. Okay. What's stopping you from sending another email? Okay. So they'll send another email. Okay. Nothing. And then I say, maybe that shul, maybe it went to spam. Maybe that rabbi's dead and it's just an old website. Did you call? Did you, like basically, I'm not going to push you to become a Jew. If you want it, you will figure it out. And don't forget that. Like, I can't do it for you, but like basically I get people who are like, okay, now what? I did this step. Oh, this is so hard. It's like, we don't want you. We only want the best of the best. And if people want to feel like it's too much work, okay, then convert. Perhaps if you want uh, a religion, go convert somewhere else. But for those people who are heartfelt and righteous, then the process is you do what you can to connect with the local synagogue. I would not visit the synagogue though. That's one thing. Security is very tight on most on most shuls, and you don't want to be an unexpected visitor. So, and I thought you were going to Chabad. Okay. Did they make you register? Okay. So you you've already got some connections. I would really, if you already know some people within the Chabad community, you can say to them, I understand that Chabad generally does not perform conversions and does not have based in that um, of essentially will convert me. However, you all know people and you see I'm heartfelt. Do you have any suggestions of where I can go? There's nothing wrong with saying that. And they might be able to say, oh, yeah, we know Rabbi so and so. Just send them an email, put in you can CC me, and that'll get you in a lot better or perhaps more efficiently than just knocking on doors, essentially. But um, at least within the Orthodox community, it's great that you're trying. One thing we do not promote is what's called shul shopping, basically going to different shuls. Once you're in an Orthodox congregation, at least when it comes to answers for halakha or Jewish law, kind of stick with your whatever your rabbi says, but that's down the line. But yeah, just go to your ask the people at the Chabad, and they'll give you specific answers, and they'll know the local rabbis who uh, do perhaps perform conversions. And if they get asked this question every single day, I know how much I get asked it, and I know that they get asked it, and I know how much my shuls get asked it. Um, they're going to have a process that basically they say, hey, meet with Rabbi so and so, or they may say we are a small community, and basically you may need to move to a bigger city. But I wouldn't I wouldn't mess I wouldn't mess around too much with the. I mean, I'm an Orthodox individual, so I am certainly biased, but the the idea of the Reform community, just especially if they're asking you for money, it's a little off-putting. It's a medium-sized community, but I think that it's pretty well recognized. So if you're talking about the if you're talking about the three rabbis who currently sit on their base din, I don't know them personally, but I know overall the Denver community is a respected community, and if you could get into that community, perhaps for a conversion, I think that it would be seen in definitely a much more fair light because it is um, recognized globally. You just want to avoid small town, or even like it doesn't have to be small town. I know rabbis in Beverly Hills who will convert you for $5,000 or convert your spouse for $5,000, and you don't want to get into that because then we're having to make calls and we're having to see what kind of devotion the person had, what kind of righteous path they had, and we find out that 3 weeks ago they were some other religion, and then they met this boy or met this girl or whatever. You want to stay away from those kinds of situations, but the base din of Denver, I think, is highly respected. In my opinion, it's highly respected, and if you can connect with them, I think it's an excellent option. That's exactly right. I mean, that's what I'm saying as well. Those doors are open to those who want to walk through them. And if that rabbi who offered you the landscaping position, why didn't you take it? Okay, so you're working as a landscaper at the local Chabad. That's great. Excellent. And then once he sees your work ethic and how interested you are, then you can certainly make a uh, expression of your intentions to convert and what you've done and um, how your heart felt, and he will say, "That's great. We don't do conversions. We continue to work here, continue to do everything as essentially a righteous Gentile as much as possible, live by the seven Noahide laws. That'll be very important to him and to the community. And then you find the based in. You'll meet with the Av of the based in, the head of the based in. You will perhaps be with them for 6 months to a year. They'll just want you to start to move to a community, your work hours. Um, there's, as I've said previously, though, they're gonna want a respectable parnasa, a respectable career for you. And so maybe you tell them, hey, I want to go back to school, or hey, I want to get this certificate, or hey, I want to do something. But because once you convert, they want to make sure that you're able to afford it. Being an Orthodox Jew is expensive. You need to keep kosher. At shul dues, you're going to have perhaps yeshiva tuition and day school or whatever it may be. And so just keep in mind they may say we want you to be in a position where you can afford this, and then after that usually you will get a syllabus, and then it's another 6 months to a year or so, and then there'll be some testing, nothing too intense. They may um, have you work what's called chavrusa, which is like paired learning with someone. You may be given a guide to the way of orthodoxy, and then basically once you have passed their requirements for whatever their community is, they'll set you up with a Brit Milah date, basically a bris date, and since you're already circumcised, it'll just be a prick of blood from the tip of your penis, basically your foreskin, what remains. And then from there, you'll have a mikveh date, and then you'll be seen as a Jew in the eyes of the community and be free to make your own decisions the way that you want. They're going to want you to stay in the community. That's pretty important usually. You don't want to just convert and leave, but you'll have made friends there. They will have invited you into their homes. You're going to have learned with them. You're going to attend classes with them. Chumash class, meaning uh, like Tanakh class, and Gemara class, meaning uh, Talmud class. You may start to take Hebrew classes. So at least in the communities where I've seen converts eventually take the journey, it it's like a four. It's like shul every day, usually, depending. Some places are stricter than others, um, but that means you're gonna have to be at shul by like 6:15 every day, and depend. Yeah, I know, but give it 6 months and it wears on you. Um, and then you go do your job or whatever, and then depending on where you are in the world and your community, it's either going to mean coming back to shul for lunch, um, or perhaps Mincha and Marav will be at night in your community. So you're going to have to be, that's just shul. Then you've got classes on top of that, which are usually led by the rabbi or some other lecturer within the community. And that's going to be another maybe 3 days a week. So usually there's, okay. I mean, that's good. I'm not saying that it's not good. Um, that's great. So the big thing that they're going to want from you is, have you moved to our community? That's the big thing. The sooner you can get that done, the better. Whether it's Denver, whether it's Chicago, or wherever, You're not going to be seen as someone who is really heartfelt in what you're doing and won't be fully welcomed in the community, of course, until you convert, but um, until they know you're not driving on Shabbat, until they know that you are spending the day in their homes, like, and they actually can see how you act, how you behave. I've seen many converts for different reasons, and you know the ones that are living in the community, and you know the ones who just maybe got an apartment there for the weekend or whatever it may be. And there are eyes everywhere. The Orthodox eye is everywhere. And I've known of situations where you may have had an individual is converting, and perhaps there was an element of their righteousness that was questioned, and their tutor, their called the base din on them and basically said, "Hey, this person is not living the way that I would expect a ger tzaddik, a righteous Gentile, to be living, a potential convert," and their process was extended. Well, they could just kick you out of the program as well. So just know, like, when you're gonna do it, you want to do it all the way. And if you need anything, I'm here. Okay. I understand what you're saying. I have no qualms with what you're saying. I don't consider what they practice to be Judaism. It's something different. It was a breakaway movement, essentially 210 years ago. Um, so, I mean, but that isn't to say that I don't consider some of their members to be Jews, but not all of them, and I don't recognize their conversion. So that's why I just do my best to stay as far away from that as possible. In your case, what what the based in of Denver said is excellent advice. Build the relationship with the Chabad rabbi as best you can. Um, Take that job, work every day like it's your last. Do a really good job. They'll see your work ethic. Uh, but the big question for me, just as an individual, but also as a rabbinic leader, where are you going to be 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road? It's very expensive. So in the back of your mind, you have to be saying, I don't want to be continuing to be a landscaper for my whole life. I either want to have my own landscaping business, or I want to get a degree in technology, or I want to be a professor, whatever it is. And you may say, I don't know what I want or whatever. That's fine. But uh, when you're looking at what the base din is going to be looking at, they're going to say, is this person going to be able to pay day schools tuition. Now that tuition you will have to pay. And what if you have 5 kids or whatever it may be? God willing, they want to make sure that you have the ability uh, to support a family. And also, I mean, imagine their perspective. They have some daughter who's looking for a man. She likes you, but you're a pauper, basically. Like you're not what they feel is going to give her a good life. You don't want that. You want to be able to say to that based in as professional a manner, this is my current career, and I'm working towards this other career, and here's my plan. If I hear that, great. Then that's what you would want to hear as well if the shoe were on the other foot, correct? Exactly. So, but the I'm not putting down landscaping by any means. I think that it's an excellent opportunity to get into the community. That's great. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So do whatever you're doing and do the landscaping. But the question that I have for you is, what do you want to be doing in 15 years? Chakra, chakras, or shock? Okay. Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. I understand. So, aside from rabbi, though, because a lot of rabbis have multiple jobs. I mean, I'm a certified project management professional. My rabbinical colleagues, many of them are lawyers or accountants or certified financial planners. Some are congregational rabbis as well, where they get paid from the shul. But aside from that, 15 years from now, if no rabbinical route, I mean, you can do both. So that there's nothing wrong with that. But what do you want to be? from a secular career if you didn't have the opportunity to be a rabbi, or you needed to be a rabbi and have a secular career to help support yourself? What did you okay, so coding isn't really a position anymore with AI, so I would move away from that. I'm not putting down coders of the past, but the best coder in the world right now isn't as good as AI on its worst day. So what kind of engineer did you say? Because engineer is great. What did you say? Okay, that works. I've known at least people within Chabad who own their own audio studios, or and they're not like millionaires by any means, but they eventually went to law school and some other things. But that's something. Okay, audio engineering can be something. That's something. So when you go to the base, then you can say, I'm doing landscaping at Chabad, and I am doing a my other job as well. I may have proclivities someday to be a rabbi, just like you all. But additionally, I have a goal in mind to perhaps be an audio engineer. Okay, great. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't want to say there's nothing wrong with it. Those are great goals. That's more than you've previously said. So basically, vocalizing these things is really important as an individual. Um, so what what would I advise you? I know you drive a lot, so listen to podcasts regarding audio engineering and what it takes to get that. Don't go into debt over a degree or something like that. I'm sure you can get some kind of audio engineer certificate, um, but something, so that because there are a lot of rabbis out there who are poor, and they're poor and they have to rely on the government, and their children are poor. You don't want that kind of life. You want to have something that supports you as well. It's just like basically having a backup plan. So the rabbinical route is great. Um, I mean, it's something that's extremely rewarding, and but you should also recognize that a lot of rabbis have multiple positions, or multiple jobs. We, no pun intended, wear different hats. An audio engineer would be a great one. So I would, if I were you, and it gives the based in an idea that, like, hey, we're not going to have to support this guy. Um, if anything, we're going to want him to be within our community. He may one day have the opportunity to go to yeshiva or study under a rabbi to become a rabbi. But on top of that, he's not going to be just looking for handouts, and neither is his family. He's got a job as an audio engineer. He's working at a radio station, or he is a podcast producer, whatever it is that is of interest to you. Um, that's basically another way for you to be able to provide for yourself and provide for your family. And again, I would just say, if you had the shoe on the other foot and you were sitting across the table from a young person, and they said, I do these jobs right now, I'm working with the Chabad, I have changed my life, I've changed the way that I eat, I changed the way that I interact with individuals, especially women, I have taken these steps, I've moved to the community, I walk to shul, I have taken these classes, and I have a goal to eventually become X, Y, and Z. You don't have to do that beforehand, but just to have the goal. But then in addition, there's nothing wrong by saying, and I think that someday I may be inclined to perhaps go the rabbinical route. That's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful story. I want you to have a beautiful story that you can tell the based in, and you're sharing that, and so that's great. And absolutely, and you should also tell the Chabad rabbi. He has connections. You never know. He knows people. Um, you shouldn't be excellent. Okay. Well, then, with that, do you have any other things you'd like to discuss? There you, there you go. Sure. What do I do? Absolutely, certainly. So, Chabad's a little different. I mean, I'm certainly a member of a Chabad congregation, but I generally consider myself very modern Orthodox as well, and I'm a member of modern Orthodox shuls as well. So there are three that are near and dear to my heart. There's Chabad of Sherman Oaks, and then there are two modern Orthodox synagogues, shuls within Irvine that I care about a lot. Um, in terms of the live stream, I was never a live streamer, didn't do social media, nothing like that. My life was uh I was an accountant for some years. I would go to shul early in the day, 6:15 or whatever for Minyan. Get off about be done about 7:30 or so. Get on the 405 freeway to work. Worked as a an accountant, but also had a tech background as well, and then eventually got a certification as a uh, project management professional. I launched apps on the App Store and Google Play uh, that were very successful that have allowed me some financial independence. Um, signed signed some big spokespeople for to basically endorse the apps. I then worked contracting for major Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 companies, and basically as a project manager, also a Scrum Master, um, uh, managing teams overseas, specifically in APAC, Asia Pacific islands, additionally Australia, Oceania, EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I launched some projects in Israel for Fortune 100 companies. Um, Also Latin America, North America, specifically with some Canadian associates, and did well at that. And then my position went remote with the pandemic, and here I was going to shul 3 days. I was going to shul 3 times a day, uh, depending on the time of year. Sometimes it's 2 times a day, just depending on when the sun. Without going into that, like sometimes chakras is always in the morning, but mincha marav sometimes they're split. One's at lunch, and we have to get a minyan together, and sometimes just depending on when sunset is, they'll be at the end of the day. And then I would take classes. So Chumash class, which is Tanakh, and Gemara class, which is Talmud. And my community really was like, you're going to be a rabbi. And I never took it seriously. I was always in accounting and technology, and I was focused on that. And enough people within my community, specifically the rabbis, said, "Look, we have we want you to start working, partnering with people within the community to essentially, well, to join the rabbinate." And I personally always felt that that might have been something that I would do at an older, like when I was older, maybe, because I was very focused on my career and the potential of raising a family and such. And then the pandemic hit, and we went from I had attended, we don't really count, but I had attended shul every day for like 666 straight days. Like I had attended. I mean, I was more consistent than the congregational rabbi. Like I was a rock and a pillar within my community. And then I started working with another rabbi uh, in some a virtual setting because of the pandemic, and the whole shul went virtual. All shuls went virtual to some extent with classes and even minyanim, your minions basically, unless some types of um, requirements regarding 6 feet apart and sanitizing and things could be met. And um, I went, yeah, well, like one of my shuls did it through Zoom, the other shul did it through GoToMeeting. So it just depended. And so what we would do is we would have the minion, we would show up, like I would show up when the rabbi would need me as a member. Um, for the minion, so quite often in person, but as well virtually, depending on just what the needs were of the shul. And he knew that I was working at the same time, so he didn't want to put too much added pressure on my life. And we began with just doing like go-to meetings. So we would have shacharis and we would daven via video, and that was so different than anything I'd ever expected or ever had, because shul is always in person, and the connecting with the other 9 members of the minyan has always been really key. And so I would still go in person, but there was this added video aspect of it. And then on top of that, the Gemara classes and the Talmud classes, the Chumash classes, the Tanakh classes. Also, I was taking like Jewish history classes as well, and Hebrew classes. I worked in conjunction with other learning individuals, basically in a small yeshiva setting. All of that went virtual, and um, I had intentions to perhaps move to Israel, or at least, but that all kind of went by the wayside. And so I had been working in with a rabbi in Israel, who my community. Not only was I working with rabbis in my community, but working with a rabbi in Israel to make smicha, which is rabbinical ordination. And I went from being an individual who was very much in the real world to having to open my life and my camera for all of these classes. And I went from additionally being in classes for and minyanim, and so chakras, mincha marav, all of that for like maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. On top of that, to my job going remote, and so I was on camera like going in my life from 0 hours ever, not having an Instagram account, not having a TikTok account, none of that stuff, to being on camera like 10, 12 hours a day. And so my anxiety for being on camera was reduced. And then especially after making smicha, and then having the opportunity to perhaps learn to be a more of a congregational rabbi, or perhaps to work for a kosher supervision service. Um, I didn't really want those roles. I already had Parnassa as a certified project management professional and a scrum master and an accountant. Like I could do a lot. I mean, obviously, um, and I had learned that more within the Sephardic community, not so much the Ashkenazic community, but the Sephardic community. They were meeting for Shabbat via Zoom, and they were actually keeping their Zoom calls on Shabbat for 24 hours. That's the longest you could have a Zoom call. Because they weren't able to meet in person many times because of super spreader events and things, I recognized, and just my knowledge of Jewish history, that this was a catalyst for change. That if we had basically 50% of all of Jews and the predominant tradition within Israel, that's a secular country anyway, but basically they had made the exception to be able to live stream on Shabbat and Hagim, specifically like that first Pesach of 2020. That was the big catalyst that I felt that okay, maybe that there might be some opportunity here, but I did not start by streaming on Shabbat by any means. So I was continuing to live my life streaming 6 days a week, and then when Shabbat would come, I would shut down all the streams and everything. But I really thought the Sephardic community is already doing this, and it doesn't make sense to me, and nor has it ever. I'm a very rational individual, and we treat Shabbat with as much holiness and as much uh, uh, we hold it in such a high regard. But I know in my heart that there's only a 14% chance that Friday night to Saturday night is Shabbat. And let me explain. There are 7 days in the week, right? Okay. Right. Okay. So no, exactly. It's 7 days. Okay. God rested on the seventh day. Are we in agreement on that? Excellent. What day was that? Okay, but what day was that? What I'm saying is that the seventh day, but you have to understand the Jewish calendar hasn't remained consistent for 5,780 years. We don't know the right day. It's a 1 in 7 chance that we're taking. And in reality, that's only 14%. There's an 86% chance that we're actually celebrating Shabbat on the wrong day. Does that make sense? Okay, well, so I know in the back of my mind that really there's an 86% chance today's Shabbat or tomorrow's Shabbat, uh, but there's only a 14% chance that Friday sundown to Saturday sundown in a little bit is Shabbat. So I've always known that. It's something that I question as a young person. On top of that, okay, and guess what? And guess what? Those the Chabad rabbis question it. It's just tradition, and I understand that. Uh, it's our Mazorah. It's our tradition. It's our minhag. It's just the way we do things. But I get that. Now, on top of that, the use of electronics is an interesting aspect. Now, I don't drive on Shabbat. I don't work on Shabbat. I one day will write a book on basically how to be an Orthodox individual in the working world and be able to take off for the at least 13 holidays that you may need to some years, and how to keep kosher at work. And even when the best time, I can tell you the best time if you're going for a big time job and you're looking for a job, the best day to do it is the day after the second day of Shavuot. Like I know that really, really well because that's the most amount of time that you're going to have while you have sunlight and you won't have to request to leave early. It's just like it's basically like if you're applying for a job in the winter, you have to leave early from work, and a lot of companies, they when they're making their determination on whether they're going to hire you or not, you don't want to have that conversation with them right away. It might be you want them to see your work ethic, all of those kinds of things. So I can even tell you like the best times to apply for jobs. So I know this process extremely well. But I don't work on Shabbat. I don't drive on Shabbat. I don't combust on Shabbat. I don't launder on Shabbat. All of the 39 melchot, the forbidden aspects, the prohibitions that we avoid on Shabbat, I follow. Now, the idea of electronics on Shabbat has only been around about 130 years. And it's really been some traditions that have been followed, but they're not really followed that well. And let me explain. You may have people who say, I don't use electronics on Shabbat. That's not true. They use timers. And so there is an aspect of the Talmud, without getting into it, that timers are allowed. Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't turn on my computers. My computers are already running. And even still, from a physics point of view, and I'm a learned individual, I'm a scientist, I am a lover of technology, and I'm a rabbi. I know that fire and electricity are different things. If you have a question about electricity, you go to an electrical engineer. If you have a question about fire, you go to a firefighter. You don't go to an electrical engineer for a question about fire, and generally, you don't go to a firefighter about a question about electricity. They're separate. They were essentially seen as the same prohibition around the time of the invention of the telephone. And it was the opinion of several rabbis that said that you essentially could not start a conversation and end a conversation because that's essentially the final hammer blow. And that's been our Mizora for like 130 years. However, there are all kinds of exceptions that are made to this, such as the use of timers, which some may say is an exception, others may say not. Other people don't shut off their Wi-Fi routers. Very few, if you go through Borough Park or Crown Heights and you just go around with your Wi-Fi on, many of the families that leave their Wi-Fi on, even though that's nevertheless transmitting data, they're not paying attention to it. So, but what I'm saying is, even that, they are affecting their Wi-Fi. Now, why? What does this get to? The answer that you will get when you're in a congregation is it goes against the spirit of Shabbat, the spirit of Shabbos. And that's fine. But that's just an all-encompassing excuse for why we don't do it. And guess what? There are kosher phones that people have that 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 are sold. You get kids who, especially the younger generations, are using. They consider the use of um, cell phones on Shabbat as non-prohibitive and somewhat even so long as they're still spending time with their family. And so this is how I look at it. There's only a 14% chance that it's right. On top of that, fire is not the same as electricity. On top of that, there isn't anything in the Bible that says you can't use a computer or use the internet. There's nothing in Talmud. you've got to be careful with that. You've got to be careful with that because we consider the Talmud, even though it's written, to be the oral Torah that was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, at Sinai. So it's basically, but so uh, I get what you're saying, and I can't say that most Jews probably don't disagree with you, or probably, yeah, I mean, probably agree with you, but at least within the rabbinical world, Talmud and the oral law is extremely high. But nevertheless, there's nothing about cell phone use in there. And we have made changes within Judaism since Talmud that are prohibited. So, for instance, within the modern Orthodox community, uh, the suction after a bris on a newborn is many times now done with a pipette or a straw or with gauze as opposed to the lips because we have found that herpes can be transmitted and the child can die. And so this is something that is stated within Talmud that we need to do that we've just moved away from. From now, not all communities have, but it's becoming more common. Other aspects that we've moved away from are the way that we daven or just pray. Like within the 15th century and 16th century, it was common for sages, especially, to use some type of like breath techniques to basically hold their breath or put pressure on themselves so that they would have visions, like Kabbalistic visions. And we've recognized that that isn't how we daven anymore. I mean, probably the biggest one, we don't do sacrifices. We've completely changed sacrifices into the davening prayers that we perform at Shacharis, Mincha, Marv. What I'm saying is Judaism has had different phases, and the modern phase of Judaism is moving much more towards the smart home, towards the electric car, and that's going to change everything. When you can pre-program your look, I'm going to be honest with you. I know rabbis who take Uber on Shabbat. Do I? Absolutely not. But I know rabbis who do, and it's looked down. No, so here's what is done. It's prepaid, and there's a mode within Uber where you can set up the you can pre-set up the route. Basically, you can plan the route, is what I'm trying to say. So the purchase is made before sundown, and I know that it's done. I don't, but I know it's done. I I don't. I've never done it. It's not something that I generally, unless there was, it's just you wouldn't do it. It's just not that to me is much more of a prohibitive act because that's public as well. People may say, "Well, you're live on YouTube. That's public." Yeah, but it's not like the community's looking at me directly on the street. There's a big difference between that. If you want to look at me, you have to go and find me. So there's an element of privacy to this as well. And but what I'm trying to say, or what I want you to know, is that there are even things that I know rabbis do that I don't agree with, that I feel are more prohibitions than what I currently do. And I know, especially within the rabbinical world, we're waiting on Mashiach to make the eventual determinations on what is kosher and what is not, and what's a prohibition and what is not. I can say that I never before the pandemic, and the Sephardic community is the one that brought in the idea of live streaming on Shabbat. That was not an Ashkenazic characteristic, and it's becoming. And here's another one. I'm sure the shul that you attend, or all of the synagogues, they all have security cameras, right? And okay, okay, but they have some type of security cameras at some of them, right? Exactly. They don't shut down those cameras during Shabbat. And so these are basically security cameras in my life. To live stream? No. What is usually done? Great question. Yeah, I mean, there are other rabbis who have discords. There's the Orthodox Discord that's run by a rabbi. There are several other rabbinical communities. In terms of YouTube, yeah, YouTube. That you've got to understand, that's the old guard, and they're dying out. Many of them didn't even want self. Oh, absolutely. I had another rabbinical colleague say to me, ask me what kind of phone to get. He was an older than I, and I explained it to him like this: if you want to be like those old Eastern European shtetl kind of like rabbis, get an Android. But young Israeli Chabad rabbis are getting iPhones, and so I helped him to get his iPhone and get that set up. I mean, basically, even those older rabbis who are moving into the smartphone world are eventually getting Twitter accounts and perhaps YouTube channels. I mean, some of the biggest uh, names in modern Judaism today are YouTube rabbis. Um, Rabbi Friedman, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi. Those are some of the big names that you'll find. Additionally, perhaps not rabbis, but certainly Jewish history, Jewish historians are using social media to be able to get the message out about the religion because it's an excellent tool. And in terms of do other rabbis do other rabbis live stream their life? No, but no one does. I've met one other person in 4 years, almost five, who live streams their life just like I do, and they don't do it from 20 different angles. They do it from one angle, and they've only been doing it for like 315 days. I've been doing it for 1,666 days. So I've been doing it a lot longer. It's not a normal thing. I recognize that it is a gift that I can give to the world, not just to hear amazing conversations just like this, but for the world to see that we're not all that different, that uh, keeping kosher isn't as difficult as some people may think it to be, that uh, Jews laugh, cry, uh, sleep, eat, drink. We do all of the things that we do, and it, it, it gives me the a way to teach. I teach a Kabbalah class every day. Today was day 96 in a row of it, and I would like to do that the rest of my life. I would love to be able to have this huge compendium of rabbinical discussions on Kabbalah, almost like the Talmud. The Talmud's 2,711 folios. I would love to do this for at least 2,711 days and have people be able to study it in future generations. That's exciting to me, and see the ways that I change, see the ways that the interpretations can change. So that's all really important. Now, in terms of Israel and getting married, I had intentions to travel to Israel and perhaps make Aliyah. Uh, Aliyah in and really probably 2020 was the plan, but I was in a friend's wedding. It was a very Orthodox ceremony, and being I remember being uh, excited for to get married myself, and I got a shadchan, which is a matchmaker, looking for a shidduch, a match. I got on the Jewish dating websites and had people who I was really interested in meeting, and the world shut down, and everybody, especially in my world, went to this virtual world. I mean, I did do like virtual dating, but that was a little bit different. And then when I started the live streaming, it was something that motivated me to be able to change the world. I learned uh, as a tech entrepreneur, and especially in 2018, data overtook petroleum as Earth's number one resource. And I personally have more data archived on the internet than any person ever. And that's hard for people to understand. But you have to understand that, like in the history of humankind, we're talking about Gandhi and Churchill and Moshe Rabbeinu, everybody. No one has had more aspect of their life, more data created than I have. And that's going to make me a very influential individual someday. I have more social media than any person else because when I do something, I do it all the way. I'm live on more than 20 different YouTube accounts right now. That's an incredible amount of data that I'm creating every moment. Basically, every minute that I am on stream, I'm creating about 60 minutes worth of data when you combine it with the TikToks that I'm on and the Instagrams that I'm on. I'm live on 3 different Instagrams, 2 different TikToks, 2 different Twitter Spaces, more than 20 different YouTube channels. I'm live in a bunch of different Discords. That's how you found me. And as I say this all to you, I'm not having to do anything. You know what I mean? And also, so I don't see it as work. I have never been a social media influencer. I don't get paid, or I get paid to stream, and I just let it sit in an account, not even my bank account. It sits in the account of the of the of the platform. They give me money. I just let it sit there. I don't want it. Basically, I don't want to ever be accused of, hey, you're an influencer, you're a live streamer. No, I'm not. I'm a rabbi. I'm a certified project management professional. I'm an accountant. I'm a few other things as well, but I am not someone who streams for money. That's not what I do. I do this fun, and I would be doing the exact same thing. I shouldn't say that. I would be more involved with my communities if I weren't doing this live stream, but I'm okay with that. I recognize that I have the opportunity to change the world. I'm an advocate for world peace everywhere. I'm an advocate for ending world hunger everywhere through the use of technology, such as agricultural drones, floating greenhouses, saltwater greenhouses, hydroponics, vertical farming, cloud seeding. I'm an advocate for ending world thirst. I'm involved with projects to build wells and water towers in developing nations for the benefit of the less fortunate. Additionally, I am an advocate for the LifeStar program, and most importantly, desalination technology, where we pump Earth seawater onto land and make it drinkable. I felt that uh, my journey, perhaps that I'm on from Hashem, certainly changed during the pandemic, and it was to help the world. I had become financially independent to some extent because of some uh, excellent investing and just really getting fortunate um, in in my positions. And I felt that not only could I perhaps change my own life, but I'm going to change the life of my children, my grandchildren. They'll never have to work again. I'm going to be starting on Monday a series of podcasts about improvement of the world. And if you know what Tikkun ul Olam is, it's essentially healing of the world. Exactly. And the first session, and this is with an Australian podcaster and Australian radio host out of Melbourne. Well, he lives in Brisbane, but his radio show is in Melbourne. He has we're going to discuss in the first session. It's about life extension technology. The second session is on improving the world through technology. The third is mega projects. The fourth is space exploration, and the fifth is search for intelligent life. And these to me are fascinating subjects. I discussed them from certainly a halakhic standpoint, and no mainstream rabbi, from the Rebbe Menachem Schneerson to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, none of them have ever discounted the idea that intelligent life may exist. And what would we do as Jews if aliens landed on the White House lawn? What do we do when we start to have space exploration and the day changes? Meaning, normally you put on tefillin in the morning. Well, if you're in a spacecraft and you're going around the Earth 15 times within 24 hours, you have to don tefillin 15 times? These are excellent questions. The rabbis of the Talmud never made a decision on this. It's not mentioned in Tanakh. What do we do? These are all excellent discussion points that I have, but really at the heart of the matter, I want to improve the world. And in terms of life extension technology, something that I've been talking about for more than 4 years, and I've always been fascinated with, are things like oxygen therapy, human growth hormone, stem cells, cryonics, cryogenics, cold shock therapy, red light therapy, things like testosterone replacement therapy, ambrosia therapy, to essentially, maybe perhaps one day, God willing, be able to extend the average life expectancy from maybe today in the Western world, age 80 to age 100, 120. But at age 120, you or someone else may say, Rabbi, back in 2026 when we talked, everything that you talked about seemed fascinating like science fiction, but it's become science fact. My body's starting to break down. What's the next plan? And I want to give people options that they may be able to, if they want, with their consent, utilizing technology, be able to perhaps use mind uploading technology to be able to extend their life. Basically scanning their brain into a computer like a CAT scan or an MRI, knowing where every atom is in their central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system for later download. As an android, an avatar, a cyborg, a cybernetic being, a clone of themselves, a robot, an ethereal being, whatever they want to be. But essentially what I'm saying to people, and I say to people in my streams, is that we are of a generation, or we're within a few generations, where the idea of digital immortality may be realistic. And that's really exciting, is it not? I think it is too. And so, yes, I could sit here, I felt with my life, and go work for some kosher certification agency and go hustle some ConAgra Foods about the kashrut of Hebrew National hot dogs, which is fine. There are rabbis who do that, and there's nothing bad about that. Or I could really do what I felt perhaps could change the world, and by giving away my privacy and in many ways connecting with people that I never would have been able to. And I mean, you see, I have almost 3,000 people in this Discord, which is a lot. If you know anything about Discord, it's really hard to get people to join your Discord. And I can really say that I feel like it will not be another year that I'll be doing this before people find out about what I do. It's going to change the world. And then it's going to give me a platform for not just within Judaism, but the whole world, to be able to unite people. I mean, one thing that Mashiach is supposed to do, and I want Mashiach to come more than anybody. I pray for Mashiach to come every single day. And when Mashiach, God willing, comes within my lifetime and rebuilds the Beit HaMikdash, I want Mashiach, if I ever have the opportunity to meet them, to say that's what I wanted people to do, is to be forces for peace. Because if you know anything about Mashiach, Mashiach's supposed to help bring about world peace. I know what Mashiach's supposed to do: bring world peace, rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, unite the nations. And I could, without a doubt, say I tried to do all of those things before you came, and be appreciated. I would hope that he would say, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Some other, and other people as well do this to some extent. So in my own way, I've created the largest compendium of human data in the history of the world. On top of that, all the religious and like more philosophical aspects of it. This is the most important, in my opinion, project of any person ever. And I put this up there with more than the Apollo program and World War II, World War I, the Civil War, all of it. And let me explain why. with the advent of AI, we've never had the opportunity to be able to study uh, the behavior of an individual over long periods of time. We only do small studies on individuals for like 6 months or a year, but never years and years of 24/7 being able to study aging, eating habits, drinking habits, behavior patterns, psychological states, sleeping patterns, circadian rhythms, every aspect of the human body, hygiene, everything. It's a gift that I can give to the world. Now, it's too much for any one individual to watch. If somebody sat down and watched every stream that I've ever created, it would take them more than 100 years. But AI can dissect every single thing that I do, and AI needs models on which to needs examples on which to build its models. And in my own way, I am the biggest model for AI that's ever arisen. And I recognize that I can have a huge impact on society that way. So without I want to humble myself, and I want you to recognize that I'm just an individual. I'm just a lowly rabbi who's just doing what they can to change the world. But I recognize that if I delayed marriage for a little bit, I didn't have a biological clock against which I was fighting. If I were a woman, I couldn't do this. But fortunately, I can reproduce at a later age and give up a half decade or so of my life to be able to change the world. To me, it's worth it. It's going to be really exciting. Can you imagine if people knew globally that you could connect with someone just like you, come into my Discord, we could talk whenever you want. You could watch what they were doing 24 hours a day from multiple streams. I don't just stream from my home. I've streamed as far north as Santa Barbara, as far south as San Diego, as far east as the desert and mountains, as far west as the Pacific Ocean. I've streamed in Beverly Hills, in Los Angeles, at Disneyland, really everywhere in Southern California. And I would love to do this globally. If people found out about that, that would be the biggest influence in global history. And in my own mind, I feel like that could be a reality someday. That absolutely. And I know that my rabbinical colleagues, while they can't always publicly say in front of their shul, yeah, everybody can just start live streaming. Though some did, um, the Sephardic communities did. You watch in 30 years, especially with the advent of the electric car, where everything can be pre-programmed, and the smart home, where everything can be set on timers, and the idea that if you're not like necessarily even just with a computer or something like initiating a charge, there are just all kinds of there are all kinds of uh, changes that we're going to see within Judaism, especially to unite people. I mean, the 10% of Jews who we focus on, the Orthodox community, want to grow and are growing, and there are a lot of people within the 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 conservative and reform movements that want to be Baal Teshuva, that want to return to the master, but don't know how to do it. And what a great resource that they could have. Hey, someone who will answer all your questions, teach you all the blessings, reviews Jewish history all the time. I've been watching Daf Yomi, which is our daily Talmud study, for like 200 straight days just on one of my other streams. It's the perfect place to learn how to be a Jew. So with that, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but you asked a very interesting question, and I wanted to make sure that I really had the opportunity to answer it in full. So thank you. Excellent. You as well. Chag Sameach. What is this?
just too good to be true. One of my colleagues turned to me and said, "Oh, my business." I think we're all business wars. You're listening right now. Listen, follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
Premier Networks presents Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
I'll take your calls next hour with Restream. That's about the life of the prophet and of course, origin artists. You want Sunday of every month. That means this Easter Sunday. That is absolutely correct. The first Sunday of each month, we play bumper music selections from emerging artists. Otherwise, might not be heard. So if you're a musician or a singer and have some recorded music, go to coasttocoastam.com right now. Go to the search. Put in emerging artists and all the submission information will pop right up. Send in your music just right here, on Coast to Coast AM. Also, a little button in the carousel this week. Take advantage. The podcast network is growing. And listening in. Well, you should just download the iHeartRadio app on your phone. If you listen to your podcast on your PC, just go to iHeartRadio.com and search either of those. Just go to Coast to Coast AM. All of the shows will pop right up. Lots of free listening, so enjoy. I'm Listen White when you're original. Think about this. HealthyLooking.com is proud to bring you GLP Plus, GLP2, and GIP. Weight loss with no John Thornhill, Georgia's Try GLP. Drops, not shots. Kill the cravings. No doctor or prescription. Why pay more for the same active ingredient? One of the biggest things people are trying to get rid of is food. You're hearing it in your head. What am I getting here next? Let that get all grow up. I'm Sean Wilbur, and I've been working in the healthy lifestyle space for almost 25 years. We've worked with thousands of doctors and many professional sports teams and professional athletes. Everyone is talking about GLP-1, but they're missing the point. They don't talk about GLP-1, GLP-2, and GIP. So our Try GLP offers way more than just weight loss. You're creating energy and look amazing because of your skin, not making your skin just fall like so many of the synthetic versions using injections. With our GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP, the trifecta, all that goes away. You simply start losing fat while keeping your lean muscle mass. It's amazing. With our patented extraction process, simply take small drops once or twice a day, and you're all done. No more needles and no bad side effects. And the beauty of this whole thing is you're helping your gut. You're absorbing more nutrients. So why not lose fat, keep muscle, and feel amazing? Drops, not shots. Georgia's Try GLP drops. No prescription, fast ratio. Lose weight to keep it off or less with Georgia's Try GLP drops at healthylooking.com and number 478-6465. Lose weight, not muscle with Georgia's Try GLP drops, not shots. At 800-478-6465 or healthylooking.com. I know you're going to want some epic this. This is an amazing story with God, Stephen, Malachi, Gregory, and Nelson. I understand that Malachi, who's almost 9 years old now, was suffering with not just one or two warts, but I mean a significant outbreak of warts all over his body, so significant it impacted his ability to really function. Yeah, he was having trouble even holding things with rise. Sometimes I actually a couple of weeks about it, I'm not surprised. It is an amazing immunomodulator, and so I can see that it would work. It's
So at what point did you see that those actually improved and really going to work? Well, we really started practicing on friends. You can see these things actually giving this on and going down to just look at my stuff. Which about what's and what the size of what money it's wow, this is amazing practice. See characterizations, yes. And how wonderful. It's great to see him succeed. Yeah. It's absolutely wonderful. It's the same as the bottom line. This is awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. Another amazing story. Why? We're talking about Colorado. Call them to awaken your immune system and protect yourself now. 1-866-836-8735. That's 1-866-836-8735. Visit carnivora.com. carnivora.com. When people turn to telehealth or weight loss, they're looking for real support. That's why more people are choosing orderly meds. Orderly meds connects you with real doctors and access to proven GLP-1 medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide. No guessing, just a more supportive experience. Mail ship directly to your door in discreet packaging. Do your research. Ask questions. Then visit orderlymeds.com/radio for an exclusive offer. That's orderlymeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary, not medical advice, or was behind required see site for details. And welcome back to Coast to Coast. George Norrie with you, Christopher Hunt with us. We talk about the life of Casey, the speaking prophet. Christopher, you're talking about the trans fight Stacey was in. I wanted to know if he was aware of what he said. He was on it. Well, yeah, that's absolutely. Gladys Stevens was his secretary. She was described when he would come out of that reading stage. And again, you did not know what to say. Bobby, Gladys Stacey Gladys would share this with them. And, sometimes he was right and sometimes he was right. Because the Sunday language was especially for its time. But he's read the Bible once every year about Christians and many religions. But when he would speak, or when that voice would speak to him through him, he would literally surprise him. So when he would come out of trance, he would share what he said, and sometimes it actually really. Well, you can imagine, George, thinking about this, think about how we think about my stream, sorry, 25 years ago, was doing mainstream science. A lot of the average folks would look at that and scan and say, come on, this is great, man, that sort of thing. Imagine a world years ago, in a large Christian society, and you start talking about the incarnation. So even for Casey, when we started chatting or talking about the incarnation, we actually had to decide for us. I mean, he was, again, as I mentioned earlier, raised the fundamentals of Christian household. And a whole bunch of things was inadequate to those who consider themselves Christian. So we put it aside, slowly but surely. He became a single and us died, completely endorsed it, which shocked him and others further. So when he would talk about Jesus, and Jesus is as life. So you can imagine George, that over 3 years, how he would understand he would trans and came out with this it might be wrong. Who was the source of this speaking of the incarnation? Yeah, you said that basically it was, the source was his higher self. And again, it was licensed for spiritual channel. He did not channel anything. He on a couple of occasions, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, but really he said it was his higher self. And the higher self the Akashic records. And again, this is this was talked about by Matt and others, but the early promotions of sharing Akashic records, and of course, Akashic also has some reason to not do. But Akashic records was the repository of the library where everything is never gone because whatever was is basically found. This is the soul of each consciousness when it goes to these places. And that's where the information is shared with.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you.
Well, Casey was that he was just dedicated to serving. Again, as I mentioned earlier, his life got down on his knees and he prayed. He challenged others. He wanted to be a service to others and an angel. And it said, we heard they will be answered. So out of his life, never got wealthy. He would get the trainings again on the house of the 14,000 health individuals. But also at that time, for a person to challenge, it took a chance on his body. And he was told, so that's where he gets well. The war starts here in America in 1941, and he's in so so people were sent sick, you know what I imagine? What's going on with my son? So it was safe, coming back to these things. We got to the point where the source was only do 2 readings a day, it was to be 10, and it was taking a toll on his body. He would literally put his hands into the mail sack and pull out a letter out of the thousands that were there just to help those individuals get some sense of peace. Great family. And he had you know, what's interesting, George, is that he has this amazing talent, but I think occasionally he, especially his wife Richard, said, hey, can't we just get along? Can't we have a normal life? And he's such a photographer, most people don't know that about Casey. He was real too. And I think sometimes there we go through that we throw him off like reincarnation. He'd step away in his life and say, that's how it is in some places. Just for foundation. What would happen, George, is that something would happen in his life to a family member that would make a particular challenge. So, for example, his wife asked him to step back. What happens if she contracts tuberculosis in 1912? And in those days, of course, if you contract tuberculosis, the first step was go to the sanitarium. The second step was you go to the cemetery. Most people that so because it got to that now he's got to get back to that trans state. He's got to find a way to see his wife becomes a vegetarian. So he kind of like a remedy. He basically says to recharge all of your cannabis and then put activity into that jar. And that person is white in this instance needed to inhale these potions and over and over again, reaching out towards her over a period of time. She did get better. And it sucked because you could actually take the manual and Mary had one of their piece of that potassium like you very high. It's on skin readings to the sides. Who's her better? Around this video and flashback experience on the eye of Casey. And the doctor said he was not going to take the eye out. And reportedly, the son said, he's my father. He'll fix this. And look, George, that's exactly what happened. He diverted a little bit from his health and things alcohol and stuff like that. Well, yeah, and again, this is where I say, not to Virginia, since you get the reading through this topic, I show now, yeah, 25 Virginia Beach, he touched on reincarnation, like this, but once he gets here, sort of take off on steroids. Now he starts talking about past life experiences, times in Egypt, times in Atlantis, times in New York. A lot of people talk about Casey and Atlantis, and that's certainly great. But he also talked about other civilizations, such as New York. He talked about civilizations not of this earth. One thing about Casey's readings that I understood to a certain extent is that we are souls, and we have interplanetary and interdimensional experiences. And so for Edgar, civil life is just the area tip of the iceberg, whereas souls was much larger. So yeah, 5,000 dealt with some very, very esoteric topics, from near-death experiences to dream interpretation to reincarnations to other civilizations. So first of all, what's out there? Next Great Awakening. Tell us about that. Well, the majority of our because the greatest passions are the American constitutional history and spirituality of this country. I love it. The inception of the foundation of this country. So everyone who bring those two things together and free to play on words, because the Great Awakening in our historical records really refers to this book I really talk about how we think past the fundamentals that there is mysticism, atheism, religion, and science, and institutions come towards us. Fundamentalism is dying, and will die with death. Whether we're talking about Christian fundamentalism, Islamic fundamentalism, scientific materialism, all these things are going absolute about knowledge and the awareness of a non-living consciousness, which again is unique to element our shares is so much more today than it's ever been. Did our government ever sue us? Yeah, well, it's interesting that you should say that, because these are statements that may be apocryphal or they may be real. Now, for example, again, we don't have anything specific as possible, but there were a number of contacts with the government that knew of Edgar Casey. So again, I don't have the stuff many of the people who have been in and around these circles fairly confident that it was true. The president of the committee got a reading at your case as he was the son is absolutely adamant that people such as criminals and Tesla and concepts of the government, but venerated figures and high-profile figures come to case and so there are stories of cases that have actually members of the citizens
It's just now.
About 3.5 hours.